Tyrone Wallace, a freshman guard, is having a big month in February. He's provided right there. Left corner, Crab. And right away, Cobb's tried to get it to him, and Mark Lyons picked it. And Tarczewski going in for the follow. Had the ball pop free. Tyrone Wallace played by Solomon Hill. And then it's Richard Solomon turning. Oh, and Alan Crabb, though. Somehow, between two Arizona guys, came away with that ball.
Now, Sean Miller talked in his pregame about the one thing he was concerned with, offensive rebounding. He thinks Cal is a very underrated offensive rebounding team. Crabb, one of those guys.
Kravish hedging on that screen, pushing Nick Johnson out. Lyons and Johnson playing the outside. Now the late clock, Ashley will go. And a good Justin Cobb's rebound. Cal got off to a slow start in Tempe in their game Thursday. Of course, Arizona got off down 10-0 here to Stanford.
Slow starts have been a thing for Arizona recently. Solomon, it's how Arizona can avoid those early deficits.
It's interesting when I'm looking at the Arizona season numbers with all the conversation about Lyons being a point, trying to play point, as Hill hits the turnaround. And there's no one Arizona player that stands out in the assist category. They have a fairly decent spread.
Yeah, they really do. Lyons is their leader now, but as you said, Parham, Solomon Hill, Nick Johnson, they all sort of have times playing that sort of pseudo point guard, and I thought Mark Lyons did the best job all season at that point position the other night against Stanford.
Right now on the late clock, Justin Cobbs resets. He's got to go with Lyons. We'll pick and pop to Solomon. And Solomon beat the buzzer.
Tarczewski went for the pump fake. That was the key, and he had to respect Solomon. Solomon can hit that 17-footer. Nice move and an early big bucket by Solomon.
There's a late double on Tarczewski, and it creates a turnover. 3-on-2, and Crabb gives it to Kravish. Well, Cal, opposite of their Thursday night game, better start.
Yeah, great start for them. That's exactly what they wanted. Some plays, they got some of their big guys some confidence and buckets early.
And Tarczewski follows. Foot issue, stress reaction issue.
Well, they had that stress reaction. They just wanted to be precautionary more than anything. They saw something that wasn't much, but they wanted to take time or have him take time off, and it evidently worked because he's back in.
Arizona there on the defensive board with Ashley. Lyons this time catches, shoots. And Solomon Hill gets Arizona's second try. So Crabb now guarding Solomon Hill. And Hill right over. Nice headman pass, and Kravish with the catch and finish.
Well, credit Kravish. He just beat Brandon Ashley down the floor on that play, and great hustle by him and a good look. And he finishes on the move. Not easy finish for him.
The roll, Jarrett, the catch and the make.
And Jarrett looked good there. He had the foot issue. He said it was hurting just a little, and that is what got them to look at the x-ray, and I guess he said he feels fine. It's all just a matter now of monitoring that with pain. If he has any pain, they've got to look at it, but says he feels good.
And Cal has gone through that very issue this year with Ricky Krecklow, who they hoped would be a key reserve for them, but Krecklow, and it was really at a period of time where UCLA was down a bit in the pack, and Stanford and Arizona were the two programs as Lyons hits the three. Mike Montgomery and Lute Olson became the standard-bearing coaches in this league, and their head-to-head battles were pretty fierce.
Yeah, they really were. Very physical teams. And they rebounded as hard as anybody. I actually talked to Coach Olson today, and I said, is that kind of fun having Coach Montgomery back? He said it is. said he really respected how good he was offensively and defensively. He said no one prepared better than him. He said just tremendous preparation and just very ethical guy. Did things the right way. As Crabbe there comes alive, nice little move in that lane area. He said just a lot of respect for both of those guys.
And that's reciprocated. I know Mike Montgomery always had great respect for Lute Olson and what he did here. Everybody has to what he did here as Lyons gets
5 or 6 inches. It's a wide open jumper for him.
Brandon Smith in for Cal. Robert Thurman also in. Justin Cobbs and Richard Solomon have gone out. Kevin Parham in for Arizona. Wallace driving through the lane. Wallace hit a fair number of those kind of shots in 10. Jordan Mays in for Arizona. Mays on the ball with California Smith. A little roll to Thurman. And then a bad throw across the floor. Hill from the top and a good look. Well, you mentioned before the game, Matt, one of the keys. Arizona does not have a great defensive stat against the three-point shot this year, but California, that's not a big part of their offense.
And it's surprising, just because Crabbe, you would think, takes so many threes, but Crabbe actually takes a ton of twos. Right in that lane area, he loves to curl. He'll hit the 15 to 17 footer. We saw him just take one as Wallace launches one there. And you're right, Ted. I mean, they're last in the league in three-pointers made. It's got to be tough for that team.
And Nick Johnson makes one at the other end. So Cal missing. That was the first 3 Cal has tried. Johnson, 34% from the line, buries it at the other end.
Well, and flip the script there because Arizona #1 in the league in threes made, 2nd in percentage, and so they can really go on big runs because of that.
Gravish missing, and Thurman did a good job to fight Parham, and Wallace does knock down a 3.
Now, Wallace only at 27%, but he's been shooting it well. Hit 3 against Oregon. We saw him hit 1 the other night, doing a nice job becoming a big-time scorer for the Cal Bears. Tyrone
Wallace, freshman, was averaging 14 points a game in February for Cal. And that's key. As you said, they'd like to get the big men involved, but they need somebody else.
Yep.
Besides Crabbe and Cobbs.
A perimeter scorer, and he can be that guy that, you know, sometimes when you look at a first 9 games of the conference, he plays 24 the other night, has his career high. He goes for 6 and 8, career high in boards. He was fantastic, and he was their 9th man. And so, you know, in honor of Bill Walton, or as an homage to Bill Walton, he may be the best 9th man in the country right now, maybe in Arizona history. So you just think of what he's done. Nice bucket there by Cal, but to come in with a 9th guy like Angelo Chol, big time for Arizona, and that's the depth situation and how they've been able to wear down teams.
Good ball movement by Cal. Crabbe assisting on the basket by Bob. This 3 there, rebounded by Cal's Thurman. Cobbs back in the game. Crabbe didn't leave the floor very much in Arizona State Thursday. They had a head-to-head battle with Carrick Felix. Arizona's already switched several defenders on Crabbe. Now Kevin Parham. Brandon Smith complex.
Who'd you see in December?
There were 6 teams there, actually.
Were there?
They had 6 teams that played a series of games, and Oregon State was the Pac-12 team that played. But they had to set it all up as Lyons drives the lane, and then Bach takes the.
Gotten in the air, he would have stopped. It would have been a jump shot, a jump stop, and the bounce pass would have been catchable by Chol. No charge and probably a dunk.
Good setup on a 3 there. Missed by Crabbe, and back comes Arizona. Well, now the Wildcats may play a while here without Lyons. Mays coming back in. What's your take on Sean Miller's view of this? Will he sit Lyons the rest of the half?
You know, Sean's he's not afraid to play a guy with 2 fouls. He'll do it a lot. Beautiful move by Ashley. Doesn't finish it, but no, he will get a guy out. I think doesn't need him.
Mays went left and pushed it with the right. So the start of the game, Cal wound up playing uphill most of Thursday night. And the Bears have weathered that here. Kind of the midway point of the first. Smith dribbled once inside the arc. So Jordan Mays on the ball now for Arizona. And Hill down the lane. Ball ended up.
Shots. Cal making shots.
Boy, what a nice effort by Ash.
Identity standpoint, his team rebounding is definitely one of their identities. They lead second in the conference in rebound margin, and that they have been terrific, all because of those three young freshmen.
First half of this game, they've been handled. Cal has a big rebound edge. But that's hurting Cal again, as it did in Tempe. That is 7 turnovers.
Well, they've gotten good shots, but for the turnovers, and this is not a team that typically turns it over. They've been in the top 5 in the league all season in lowest amounts of turnovers, but the last 2 games, not very good at all.
And there's Hill. Well, he's a guy that you touted for honors, and it's interesting with Mark Lyon sitting, Hill sort of ran the offense on that possession.
That's right. He can play that point forward position, and you saw Tyrone Wallace. He went under the screen, and I think time ago people would have no problem because Solomon couldn't shoot it as well from 3. He's really gotten that up. 41% right now. Terrific job before the conference. And you see this here, and he has tremendous power with that 6'7" frame.
Of course, Crabb, who we're watching in this game, is still the leading scorer in all games among conference players as Crabb gets the basket there. I'm going to throw a name at you that's ramping up. Upward with, you know, he's on the Billboard chart with a big arrow right now. That's Dwight Powell at Stanford. Stanford's playing much better.
Yeah.
Powell's putting up some big games. Nice inside for Ashley.
Now the nice dish there. Johnson draws the defense, and Ashley uses those long arms to finish. But I saw Powell the other night here in McHale, and he was dynamic. I mean, he could do it almost any way you want. They had a really difficult time matching up with him. They had 4 or 5 guys, and to your point, Ted, playing as good as anyone in the conference.
Stanford got a big win yesterday at Tempe. They forced Arizona State to go small in the second half.
They did.
Stanford's big men stepping out and shooting as they can.
And they get Gage out there, and they get, you know, all their bigs, and so really make it difficult for teams to guard. And, you know, who do you put on? How do you get a big guy out there guarding pick and rolls? And of course, Chasen Randall does a great job shooting it a lot better. They were awful in the preseason. Florida game, though, they lost big to Arkansas. That was a surprise. And Kansas 0 for their last 3. That was a shock. That's a shock to me.
Interesting to see where Arizona will end up if they can win this game, how they move up. Gonzaga is in that spot they're often in where they win a couple of games in league play. They may move up in the ranking, and their RPI may go down. As they beat a couple of lower rung teams from their conference.
Reminds me of
Gonzaga, that you don't see often in college basketball, is redshirting a player in the middle of his career, not redshirting him up front. Kelly Olynyk has become a standout player. Kravish slipped off the screen, but then Tarzewski blocked him. Nick Johnson on the run, and a reach in on Cobbs of Cal.
That Pac-12 player of the year, he was so dynamic early. Has not shot it well, missed that free throw, but has not shot it as well in the conference.
That's why I asked in non-conference. He had some games that just you couldn't help but be impressed.
He was terrific.
All right, Lions back in the game. So his first in over 4 minutes. And right now, a little bit of a danger spot for Cal. Arizona's slowly gotten it out to 7, and Cal's hit a little bit of a drought.
Yeah, they are, and that's, again, the storyline for Cal. When can they score? How can they score? Can they get buckets?
And there's going to be a little bit of a tension coming up because Arizona will be in Boulder Thursday night to play Colorado. And I have a feeling that's going to be a great atmosphere. We'll have it on Pac-12 networks.
I talked to Tad Boyle 2 days after they won, or after they lost here, and he told me, hey, that game's already sold out. And what a move by Crabb. And that's one thing he has an advantage. Johnson can chase him off screens, but he's got the size there. Got about 4 inches on Nick, and he uses that pump fake.
Ooh, Parham launching the three. Parham not a bad shooter. 38% out there this year.
Well, Parham can shoot it. He's a guy that I think in the Pac-12, maybe the best 6 man in this conference, and Crabb's starting to light it up.
Wow. Crabb looks like he got a little ticked by his second foul.
That's right.
2 straight baskets at a time when his team really needs it. Brandon Smith on the push. And all the way to the paint. And that was a good kick as Crabb had a look. And Tarczewski, the trailer, can't hang on. And Cal back. Sean Miller's got the hands on the hip look there. That was not out of his textbook.
No, that's
a little too crazy there.
Well, he went with the spin and like he was going to get his shot blocked and then jumped in the air. And that's the problem. When you're in the air and you're not sure what you're going to do with it, usually ends up in a turnover.
Solomon steps back to the baseline.
Well, and Solomon a little shorter than Tarczewski, but probably quicker. And using that quickness, Tarczewski's got to respect the drive, and Solomon rises up for that too.
Just a one-on-one move. Hill has 8. 8 different Arizona Wildcats have scored in this first half. 7 points, the biggest lead. And Cobbs hits in the lane.
That was the guy I was just thinking. They need to get some production from Cobbs, and it's not a case of missing. He just hadn't gotten any shots up today.
His first points. And knocked out of bounds by Wallace. That gets us to a timeout. Just under 4 to play.
Even at the next level.
And that fact you just saw there, when I saw that, the first thing my jaw dropped was Jahi Carson. He has 9 20s this year.
Yeah, it's
more than almost double Crabb or Shabazz Muhammad. There's a great transition finish by Tyrone Wallace.
Cal creeping in. You mentioned the guys being out, and a nice job by them there. And to go back to Jahi Carson, that's a guy that's not even shooting it well with those types of numbers. Wait till he starts to knock down a 22-footer consistently and try to. Arizona hasn't gotten on any really big run to get this crowd going, and I think the tempo is great for the Cal Bears.
And Mark Lyons continues to play with 2 for Arizona. He sat for just over 4 minutes. And Arizona can't convert. Well, here comes Cal now. Possession where they can pull within 1. And Wallace takes it into Hill and goes down. And now Hill spots up and rattles it.
And that was much better teamwork for Arizona. You mentioned it, Ted. I think they've had a number of possessions, maybe too much one-on-one basketball. You see them come down, the nice jump stop and the pass to his wing on the left, Solomon Hill.
Well, that's a swing. And a bump. Jarrett, the defender, coming out. Body contact on a ball screen like that, or the hindering the movement off the ball. The scoring is down.
Yeah,
again.
Yeah, and I think part of that is they haven't been calling things. They're letting guys go, and you saw that last possession with Wallace. There was a lot of contact. They could have called a foul there. They did not, and because of that, he didn't get an opportunity to make a shot or shoot free throws.
You look at the history of these teams, for example, as Lyons knocks down a 3. Second 3 for Mark Lyons. These teams, the last 6 times they've played, Cal and Arizona, both teams have scored in the 70s. Over 70, more accurately. That's a high-scoring game this year.
Yeah, it is. And that's happening all over the country. I mean, you're seeing that with a number of teams. Put him in, and I'm with you, Ted. I thought they would take him out with so little time left.
And Cal go into a zone here. Mark Lyons. Some bumping, some contact, no whistles. Here comes Cobbs in, and Cobbs finishes.
Well, again, a lot of contact around that free throw line, and we talked about Mark Lyons with the bounce pass. He doesn't throw it, ends up in a turnover.
And now Sean Miller, team losses. They're going to have to run the table in Las Vegas, no pun intended. But the way they play, with the size they have, you just... Nice possession. Tarczewski got that ball so deep. I would just say, I think I've said this the other night as well, I would venture to guess that no coach in the league is going to say, I really want to play USC.
No, that's part of it is they've got nothing to lose.
Yes,
you know, with an interim coach, they can just let it fly, and Cobbs lets that one fly. But you know, the big thing with them too is they have talent and they have depth and they have size. So in a game in the Pac-12 tournament, sometimes those tournament games slow down a little bit. They can take advantage of size.
Last possession. Cal been playing a zone, stay in a zone. And Ashley throws it away. Crabb, Cobbs, and Crabb finishes. And that ends the... Got into this first half.
Not at all. They're standing now, but it was a quiet crowd, and Arizona played well, but didn't really have anything to get them going. No big run, no big dunks, kind of alley-oop type stuff. So Cal, in that sense, did a really good job of tempo and kind of keeping things under check.
So I think this is interesting. Cal is coming out, they're playing the zone. I mean, Mike Montgomery and zone were never in the same sentence. Oh, Ashley picked up the loose ball. And now off to fight for it. Wallace gets knocked down, and Mike Montgomery.
A tremendous rebounding team, and anybody that knows, you play that zone, you have no box out assignments. We saw a couple of almost offensive boards, so you need to be careful with that.
Nice handoff, and Alan Crabb scores it.
And that's just a terrific cut. Solomon sees him, and the other Solomon Hill kind of got turned around on that. I think he was expecting Crabb to stay out on the perimeter.
We were talking before the game started today about this. I made the comment on Pac-12 Networks last night about coaches with identities. Ben Howland has an identity. Ashley with a nice putback. Mike Montgomery, one of his great identities through his incredible career, he has been man to man to man.
Yeah.
He rarely has gone zone, and he's staying with it. I'm assuming he felt it was an effective play at the end of the first half. Yeah,
I think that gave him the confidence to do it, and a little bit of foul trouble. Again, lack of a bench. And if you just have a little success, keep it going.
Nice. Off the curl, Cobbs with a catch and shoot. And Cal coming out to start the second half saying it's a game.
Both halves, they have really come out well. You can see their confidence. Arizona, on the other hand, needs to... Probably didn't even practice for this, Ted, as you talked about. Probably didn't even think about his zone, knowing Mike Montgomery. Well, he took advantage.
Now it's Cobbs on the drive, forcing the contact.
I mean, that was a team that was 10 days ago. They were 2 games out of first, and really it was 3 because Oregon had beaten Arizona. So to look up at the standings and see yourself in first place if you're Arizona, I mean, what a turnaround.
Well, this game lead was never that wide for Arizona, but they seemed to be establishing control, and Cal is right back in it at the end of the first half and the beginning of the second. The biggest lead for Arizona is 9. Lyons has to go. So there's a late clock one-on-one play.
And that's, you know, you have Crabb up at the top, and then he's going to let it fly over Nick Johnson. And all of a sudden, Cal takes the lead in this game, and look at the body language on this Cal team, loving this zone, and Crabb knocks it in from downtown.
Well, Cal has not led the game since the opening 4 minutes until now, and Crabb rebounds. Cobbs, left-handed.
And you know you're feeling good when you run in transition like that. We saw the opportunity 3, and You know, Cobbs was a little quiet in the first half. I like his aggressiveness this second half. Much more aggressive, talented player.
All right, so what's the challenge for Arizona here, Matt, as you watch this in going against a zone?
Now, what they've done is they brought in Kevin Parham.
Blocked by Crab, playing the point of the zone. And then Johnson fouls.
In situations where he just had to score, he was able to. And you know what I liked about Crab was, you know, admittedly, he made some mistakes at the end of that game. Couple turnovers could have cost his team, but he didn't duck the questions. He said, hey, I made the mistake. I've got to do better next time, and really feels like he can come up with some redemption in this game this afternoon.
Lions missing. The Crab has been much more able to impact this game.
And he's doing it now on both ends. He's doing it at the top of that zone, almost like Moreland has done it for Oregon State. You get that length up there in Arizona, struggling with that a bit.
Over 4 minutes into the half, and Arizona has scored just 2 points. And Crab is fouled on a 3.
Frustrated Arizona.
And as big as the points for Cal, Crab has scored 11 points already in the half, 23 for the game. The number to me is the 2 by Arizona.
Yeah, that's.
And they've got to find the code here to crack this zone. Spot up, nice throw to Jarrett. So Grant Jarrett hits the 3.
Well, part of that code is putting Kevin Parham in the middle of the zone. He is the zone breaker, and Kevin Parham did that at Cal a couple years ago as Cobbs continues to be aggressive. And now let's see if Arizona's starting to get a little run of their own.
Trying to get fast, and they do. It was Ashley filling the lane.
Now, I mentioned Parham. He had a gigantic, his career high at Cal a few years ago in that triple overtime game, and that's where he did all of his work, in that zone, right in the paint area by the free throw line, and they went to that play there to get the look.
Cobbs, well, he and Crab are just on right now. They've scored all the points, the 2 guards for Cal, 19 of them so far in the half.
And that was a pretty quick shot. I'm not sure it was a great shot, but when you're feeling it like Cobbs is right now, anything's good.
I'm going to look back at Coach Olson and ask him how he felt when Muehlbach felt he had it. Nick Johnson. This is the battle. They're going to get a foul on Crab. The first team foul by Cal. So Cal staying in that zone. Our great crew, Michael Molinari, Adam Gordon. Found out I wasn't crazy. It was 2002. Stanford beat Xavier in the preseason NIT at Maples Pavilion. There's a nice drive, ball tipped out. And Sean Miller was an assistant to Thad Matta at that time on the Xavier bench. Charging foul, Cal on Cobbs.
That was one.
Montgomery.
Yeah, Sean, and these coaches, they're like golfers. They remember every play, every game, every situation.
Hill goes down. Tyrone Wallace comes out. Crab. All right, didn't go up over Jarrett.
Now, and that's the thing. I think they've moved Nick Johnson off of him because Crab was just shooting over Nick. Nick was fine on the trails and he was with him, but he was able to just jump right over the top of him.
Now Johnson has to switch on Crab. Late clock. Tyrone Wallace off the screen. And Johnson, good job to penetrate and set up Hill. Well, Hill rattled out, but Parham finishes.
Now, and as good as Hill is as the senior, Kevin Parham has become a guy for this Arizona team. He's a 6th man. He has hit so many big shots this season. You can name the games, and he's always in the right spot at the right time. Big plays most of the time when they're behind.
And there's Johnson. Good defensive play. Nick Johnson. And that brings Arizona within 3.
Well, and that's why he's leading the league in steals. Number 1, anticipation and the strength to take that 50-50 ball and eventually score. Yeah, they didn't scramble. They didn't have guys set.
Right.
And as you said, though, I'm not sure if they went back to a man or zone on that or not.
Mark Lyons trying to D up on Cobbs, forcing a miss. Oh, Parham tried to throw it through too many arms. Cobbs deflected. Cobbs back. And Kravish. Matt, the word you used all tonight, Justin Cobb's a different player than he was Thursday, and it's aggressive.
Yeah, he's just much more looking for his shot. And I like him when he gets into the lane. I know he took that last jump shot before the layup. And Kevin Parham loses. A good idea again to get it in there. But no, Cobbs has really controlled this game as well as Crabbe with his scoring. I look for him to continue to get the screen and rolls, to continue to beat guys off the dribble.
Nice drive and dish, but Thurman had it and fumbled it. That was a great setup by Cobbs. And then Wallace will be called for a foul. Lead just for a moment. They had it after the Allen Crabbe 4-point play. That was a 17-2 run to start the half by California. So Nick Johnson on Crabbe. Switch now to Hill. Arizona really clamping down on Crabbe, and now the ball goes out of Ashley, but there's no pressure. But you saw in the replay clearly there was none. No. This is the right call.
Nope.
3 seconds. Crabbe has to go. Crabbe goes.
And there it is again. I'm surprised they did not put Hill on Crabbe just for that 1, 2, or 3 second possession.
26 for Crabbe. 14 in the first 10 minutes of the second half. Standing now for Arizona. And Cal is not bent. They've stayed in that zone, and Lyons over it.
Well, and Sean, even though they made that jump shot, the Colorado-Arizona game, that's...
The Oregons will be at the Washingtons next weekend. Brandon Smith is in for Cal. Dribble handoff to Crabbe, missing. Solomon got undercut. 4th against Arizona. 2nd personal. And Cobbs off the inbounds. 14 points for Cobbs. In the second half, Crabbe and Cobbs have combined for 24.
I mean, this has been a lethal 1-2 punch. And Cobbs comes in here, you know, he's 12th in the conference in scoring. It's not like he can't score, but this second half.
Lyons denied. Sean Miller on the floor. Being pulled back by his assistant. Sean Miller walked on the court with his hands outstretched. Nice pass by Crabbe. Boy, he whipped that to get it to Kravish.
And that was all a result. Mark Lyons still grimacing. He was on the ground under the bucket. Arizona, or Cal there, 5-on-4. They made the right decision. Found the lone guy, and
Sean Miller, you can see him at the top there. He's still going at it with Frank Harvey about that previous play. There's a nice basket. That's Arizona needed that from Solomon Hill.
And that's the guy you go to when you need it. And that's what they need is in the paint movement there. We saw Kevin Parham do it, and then Solomon that go-to fadeaway.
Richard Solomon. And Cal backs it out. That basket by Hill was his first points of the second half. Cobbs with a tough shot. Now under 8 minutes. And not much motion, and eventually a foul. Solomon Hill Barrels into Crab, and that's the third on conference games remaining. And Arizona State would be just a game back. And how about Stanford, which started the conference season not well, and they're surging.
Yeah, and if you're Cal, you need to keep pace with those teams, because you know Colorado and Stanford are going to keep winning.
How about that? For that matter, if Cal wins this game, they'd be 6-5.
That's right.
Same spot as Stanford.
Now, and the big thing for Cal, just to look really big picture, you think about RPI things and some of that talk, and you know they're not going to have a chance. Looks like a foul trying to come through that pick.
Foul on Brandon Smith.
Huge boost for them, and something they'll never get a chance at again.
And remember, you know, Mike Montgomery, prior era, prior school, as Chall is in the game and is foul. Well, Cal really turning this game in some measure by going to a zone. And they're in this, going to get to the 7-minute mark with the lead. Hobbs tried to dish to Sherman. What's happening here in the last 3-4 minutes, though, is that Crab has been slow.
Yeah, no, they've done a good job. And Brandon Ashley, the 6'8" forward there, a nice job on a guard. I think he's going to be in a couple years one of the best defenders in this conference.
Mark Lyons, and that's the 4th foul on Richard Solomon. So Lyons driving into the zone.
Question as he knocks in that second one, and big one there. But you know, Lyons just has a penchant for getting in there. He's able to go, and I think the key for those guys, they get into the body of the defender and they force the official to make the call.
Thurman in the game. Solomon's out with 4 fouls. Cobbs is stripped. Lyons back. Lyons coast to coast. Left it short, and it's out of bounds. Oh, Parham thought Nick Johnson was going back door.
Good look by Parham.
Cal now would like to find a way. Nick Johnson still guarding Alan Crab. See if they get Crab going. Get him a shot. There's a step back shot, and Crab knocks it down. 29 points. 17 in the second half.
Now that was, give Crab all the credit in the world. You know, Arizona might think that was a push-off. It might have been a little one. And Parham finally gets some room in the lane, but Crab's just been sensational.
Second highest scoring game for Alan Crab. He had 33, a career high against Pepperdine. Second game this year. 29 today. There's something about doing it here. There's so many great guards. Present company included. I mean, Arizona's history of guard play is extraordinary.
And point guard you, and
inside, nice feed. Solomon Hill set it up.
Well, and that's the advantage for Arizona, because Solomon can run the break. Mark Lyons knows that. He was able to run out quickly and then let Solomon bring it up and dish it to him in the bucket.
Another X factor that we haven't seen until recently. In this game, it's been that. It's the crowd. So many great games. Really, Cal in Arizona had him when Jason Kidd and Lamont Murray. Nice feed inside, and it sets up Bach for the basket.
Now he comes into the game, and a guy that's not a big scorer.
And that's out of a timeout.
That's out of the timeout.
That's coaching.
We saw that at Arizona State. Out of several timeouts, they run those plays, and wouldn't expect Bach to get it ever.
Ooh, Ashley contested. Prevents.
Well, in Arizona, #1 in the conference in free throw shooting, so something they do really well, and they've been excellent not only during the game but late in game situations.
Hobbs taking it in, setting up Bach. Bach got fouled. Ashley. So Bach of Cal will be at the line when we come back for the final 4 minutes. has not budged from their zone the entire second half. They switched to it in the closing minutes of the first half. Spot Parham. Lions inside with a nice drop. A few years, that was for generations, that would have been a foul on the floor. That basket would not have counted. That was a real good continuation call.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. That's a point of emphasis this year. And oh, almost looked like he traveled.
Look at how far they're stretching out. Arizona is on the Crabbe and Cobbs. Crabbe tried to dump it down. So now Arizona in one possession territory. And that's going to be a blocked. Each team with the 2 timeouts. You see those on the bar at the bottom. The possession arrow belongs to Cal. The ball with Cal. The lead with Cal. Crabbe with a fumble. Crabbe down, saves it. Cal still has time. Cobbs with a huge shot. Boy, Crabbe and Cobbs have been incredibly cool in the second half.
Well, the biggest shot of the game to this point. And again, Cobbs hit those shots against ASU the other night. He seems to be a late guy that when he has to let it go, shoots it nice.
And Lions with an equal answer. 16 for Lions. Timeout.
Well, I know it's being redundant, but Lions is just, most of them are not.
Yeah.
So
here's Wallace with the ball. He's only 55% as a freshman. Solomon Hill on Crabbe. And Crabbe makes an incredibly tough shot.
You can't, if you're Solomon Hill, what do you do?
Exactly. That's too good.
That is just too good right there.
31 for Crabbe. Second highest scoring game of his career. Nick Johnson again, right down the lane and missed the layup. And Ashley missed the putback. Ashley again, and Cal comes away with it. Nick Johnson, with no defensive pressure, got right to the basket.
And I think at the last second, he wasn't sure whether to lay it in without using the backboard or use the board. I think he got caught in between and it hit the back rim.
Looks like Arizona's going to play this possession out again. They have a foul. Now Cal's going to take a timeout. So
test it.
And again, shot clock at 17 for Cal. Timeout, and that's their last one. All right, so Arizona denies the inbounds, and now Cal
really use it. Yeah.
Late clock now, so it's going to be Cobbs. He sees it against Hill, the tougher man, the bigger man, and Cobbs takes him. Justin Cobbs squared up against Solomon Hill and took him. And that'll come back to Cal now. Shot it out for the 3. Hill was too deep. Stepped in just a little bit. But a clean. Well, Crabbe misses. That was a 1-and-1, and the players weren't quite ready for that either.
No.
And Hill with a miss. Another rebound to Cal, and now the Golden Bears